Welcome back, guys. So the first thing we need to do is obviously create our project. To do that, we're going to click on create a new Xcode project. We're going to make sure we have iOS selected, app selected, and we are going to click on next. Let's give it a name. I'll just call it list and just put a D at the end because I'm pretty sure I already created something with a list. Make sure that your interface is SwiftUI, lifecycle leave as it is, languages Swift. I'm not going to be using core data or testing, so I'll just leave it as it is. Let's go ahead and click on next. I also don't want a Git repository, and I'll save it in my YouTube file. Obviously, you save it anywhere else you wish. Let's go ahead and click on create and wait for the project to load. As you can see, it loaded pretty quickly. Now we can go ahead and expand this, and we will leave the canvas for now. Now for our app, we're going to have a text field, and then we are going to have the list underneath. So the first thing we're obviously going to be doing is removing the text from here and instead replacing it with a VStack. You can see that auto-completion is being a little bit slow on me. Anyway, we can start by first, and I will be using SwiftUI, so I will be able to add like a text field. So I'll just say text field, and then after that we are simply going to be adding a list. And let's just put something inside so we can avoid having errors, but we're obviously going to change that so that it becomes dynamic and so that you're able to actually add things to it. Now here's the thing, what we need to do is we need to create a state object, a variable here, and this will basically will just be saving the stuff from the text field in it. So let's just call it new entry, and we're just gonna give it an empty value. As you can see here, we can replace this, and instead we are going to pass in new entry. For the placeholder, we can put something like enter and new entry. Wonderful. So obviously we still need the button that we are going to click in order to add to our list. So to do that, let's go ahead and wrap our text field inside a HStack, just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy my text field and then place it inside. And on the right side of the text field, we're going to be adding our button that when you click, it will add whatever was on the text field inside of our list. So let's go ahead and add a button. Or actually, a different way you can add a button is simply clicking on this plus button, dragging a button, and putting it wherever you want it to be. Double click on action here and open and close the zigzaggy bracket. For the content, for now, we can simply use image, and we are just going to go ahead and go to SF symbols. I'll link up where SF symbols are, and basically you can use any icon inside of Apple straight away, as you can see. And what we want to do is we want to click on plus, type in plus in the search bar, and that seems to have done nothing. Oh, there we go. And let's go ahead and select the plus circle button. So I'm gonna go back, and first we need to simply say system name, and then we're going to pass in the name, or as you can see, the name of whatever we wanted. So we wanted plus.circle, so let's go ahead and type in plus.circle. And if we actually resume canvas, we should probably be able to see the text field and the button right next to it. Let's also give it a little bit of a color. So I'm going to type in foreground color, and then I'll give it a green color, as you can see. Now we also need an array. So the reason why we need an array is because this list is going to be feeding off the array and populating the rows from the array. So for each value inside of the array, we want to create pretty much text for the list. So that's exactly what I'll be doing. Let's go ahead and type in state var, and let's just call our array entries, and let's just say add something. So we will have something to start with. After that, what we can do is we need to come to the list here, and we're going to do some work to make sure that the list can actually accept entries from our array. Okay, so now all we're going to be doing in order to make that list get the information from our array is simply add in a bracket just like this, and we're going to be passing a 0 ... less than, and then we're going to type in entries .count. So pretty much we're saying we want to create an item, or like whatever we're going to be passing here, for each value inside of entries.count. After that, what we are going to be saying is we're going to pretty much say entry in, and then what we can do is we can pass in text normally, and we can pass in entries, and we are going to say entry. Okay, so as you can see, when we load up the app, we do get a list, and as you can see, with the only item that we have is add something, which is exactly the item from our entry. We also have our text field here, so we can obviously add things to it, and we also have our button over here, which if we click on it, nothing actually happens. So now that's exactly what we're going to be doing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to add some functionality so that when we click on that button, this item will be added into our list, and we're also probably going to make some UI improvements. Let's go back, and the first thing we are going to be doing is just add some padding to our VStack, and this will pretty much make sure that everything looks a little bit better. Now, what we need to do, something else, is we can probably increase the font. So we can just keep this as title just so that we have the button a little bit bigger. And what we can be doing is we can also be adding a border to our text field, and that will just allow us to see it a little bit better. Let's also add a corner radius, and 3 is fine, so we can have it a little bit curved. Now let's get to the actual action. The only thing we need to do, and this is very simple, is we're simply going to type in entries.append, and then we're going to pass in new entry, which is the value from the text field. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to type in new entry, and that's actually it. You've just completed the app. Let's go ahead and run this project and see how it will look this time. Okay, wonderful. So as you can see, we do have the button a little bit bigger. It's not touching the sides. Obviously, the text field looks a little bit ugly, but let's go ahead and see if the main functionality actually works or not. Let's go ahead and type in something. So I'll just say dog, and let's go ahead and click on this. And as you can see, nothing happens. So let's try and understand why nothing happened. The reason why nothing happened is because we need, as you can see, let me do this again. If I go ahead and click this like couple more times, we get this exact same error. For each whatever its initial count, and should only be used for constant data. So it's pretty much telling us that the list should only be used for constant data, and we should be adding an identifiable. We should allow SwiftUI to know how to sort out this array before using it. So let's go ahead and add this, and it's actually very simple to do. So to fix it, all we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a comma. We're going to be putting ID, as you can see. Inside of here, what we are going to be doing is actually removing those two brackets, and instead we are going to be passing in a backslash dot self, just like this. Now let's go ahead and run it, and this time it will work properly. Okay, so we have a project here, and let's go ahead and type in anything. So I'm gonna be typing dog, and I'll click add. As you can see, it does get added to our list. Let's go ahead and type in anything else like cat, and we can click on add. As you can see, again gets added. Let's go ahead, type in chicken, and this will be our last example, and I can't even spell chicken. There we go, that's correct. And if I click on add, as you can see, we do have it added into our list. Our list dynamically changes. It dynamically adds the items based on whatever is on the array, and at the moment you can't delete it, and you can't select it. So these are going to be future videos that we're going to be doing, but for this episode, that's pretty much it. You learned how to create a dynamic list which you can add items to. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, leave a subscribe, let me know how I can improve, and let me know if you have any video suggestions. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.